Ladies and gentlemen, you are now listening to the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Cross the line in 3, 2, 1.
What is going on, my Impact Wrestling fam? Welcome to episode 137 of the Talking Nonsense About Impact Wrestling podcast. Thank you for joining me. We got an interesting one for you, a weird one, if you will. You got old WrestleMania happen right now, so I don't know if the chat's gonna blow up. And we kind of had a weird week for Impact, some great stuff, content and stuff, and which we'll go over. A quick review of Impact Live, a little bit of some hot topics, not too crazy. Talk about, hey, what's up? Wrestle what? What's up, Critical Sting? Always great to have you here. And a shout out to Konnan for being in the Hall of Fame. So we'll talk about that. A couple things I want to hit on, but not going to be too long of an episode. But first and foremost, I want to thank you if you're joining us here as Critical Sting is in the chat. Sundays at 8 on TNAIW Channel right here on Twitch.tv. Or if you're watching on YouTube or one of our other, I don't even know, maybe that might be the other platform. But thank you either way. Highest likes in a very long time, highest watches in a long time, but most importantly, subs are up. You guys are watching everything else on the channel. What's going on, IO? You're helping speaking of IO, the Twitter up to 4,019. Keep that going, man. Dude is super talented, kills it on there, and does nothing but love Impact Wrestling. And we almost cracked 200 this week, man. So back to our top 10 episodes, but to have 366 subscribers and 200 views, pretty cool, guys. And the length in which you watch, I appreciate you. I love you. And I don't take that. I don't say that lightheartedly. Got a few updates, as you can see on the Tron. You can see on the Tron about the future of this channel. And of this show and specifically, but I want to start and talk about GoGoPowerRankings, which we will not have a Power Rankings this week with the Multiverse United and Datala being at Wrestle What. Took a break off. They're going to come back, kick it strong for at least the next 2 weeks, and then including post-Rebellion show. But we're trying to work it out so the show can remain on here for the longest of hauls, man. Love them all. Datala is one of the kindest, most trustworthy and loyal people I have ever met on this. So nothing but love for them. And but if for some reason, and I'll get to that in a second, it can't continue on this channel for a bit, it will be going to her Rangers of Wrestling, which go make sure you sub there, subscribe, love all of her stuff. She busts her ass doing that. But it'll be a temporary until I get Craig on his feet, trying to get Mr. Impact Craig back, rocking and rolling. And once he does, he'll have the keys to the castle, guys. Talking Bloody Nonsense will be back each and every week. Knock on wood. And he'll make sure that GoGoPowerRankings is on here and continues, like I said, for the long haul, man. As far as this show goes, guys and gals, I will be rocking it the next 2 weeks. Rebellion, as Io said, there is coming up rather close, and that's normally our night to do this. So we will be doing it on the following Sunday. It'll be a Rebellion and the episode of Impact and On. So if you're watching this on YouTube and you don't want to hear me ramble on about the future of this and this channel and this show, I'll make sure to put timestamps on there so you can skip. But for the real ones that watch all the way through and been rocking with me and creating a community, one friend at a time, one fan at a time, I got some news for you guys. So after the 25th, I believe it is. What's going on, Millard? What's up, Geoff? For some reason, it gets harder and harder for me to the beginning of the show. Me too, buddy. No, it was me trying to figure out my connection and get that rocking and rolling. But so I want to make that clear. It won't be here Rebellion. We'll be here the week after Rebellion, and we'll have a super show there. And then from that point forward, we will be doing a once a month live episode here, guys. A super show, if you will. I'll try to stick with it as long as possible, 1.5 hours. I do this for the bloodline of the show, the chat here, and for all of you that watch, man, I appreciate what you guys have done. This isn't the end. Time is but a window. I will be back. A little Ghostbusters 2 for you. But as far as a weekly thing, it won't be happening for the time being. It'll be a monthly review of the pay-per-views. I'll announce them way ahead of time. Make sure you all get the invite and we can rock it here as a family and talk about stuff. But you guys, if you've been with me, especially the past couple months, I've been opening up and a little bit honest. There's a lot of things going on with me. And got to focus on that a little bit. Got to focus on some other projects and other real life stuff that's going on as well. But I'll keep you guys updated. I love you. I thank you. And as we get closer, I'm not going to do it tonight. I don't want to be all Jeff hour emotional time. But I'll tell you what's going on, what I'm getting into, and everything else. But the one thing I do want to say, because it's really important, and there's a lot of stuff going on in the world of wrestling right now that might turn you off to some of the wrestling. And I tell this when anyone's having a hard time as far as if finding themselves or whatever. I grew up the fanciest kid in the trailer park, the poorest kid in Catholic school, and the lightest dude in the hood. Okay, I've had 20 addresses before the age of 18, and I'm not a military family. My point is I've been around a lot of communities. I've seen a lot of communities. I've been near a lot of communities. But until I found professional wrestling, I was never part of one. And for that reason, professional wrestling was my first thing to try out something with here. It was my first thing to figure out how to connect during a really shitty time during COVID. And for that, I'll be ever grateful. But the point of me telling you guys that is because even when this community is at its darkest, and it seems like more and more so it is, there's some really good stuff here. There's some really good people. You guys are one of them. And guys, my health isn't number one. There's, well, it's a 1A, 1B, 1C, 1D, 1E. There's a lot of stuff going, and like I said, I love you guys. I'll make sure you keep you in the loop, and we have a few more weeks to rock this out, and then of course monthly I'll be back. We'll have some guests. We'll have some fun stuff. We'll talk. We'll do a power rankings. It'll be a good time. But yeah, guys, amongst the darkness, light your candles. You guys can fix whatever needs to be fixed in the wrestling community. There's so much good in it. Don't let the negative, don't let the hate, don't let any of that affect your love for professional wrestling or what it can bring to you on a weekly, or in my case, a lifetime of friendship from people. To be honest, not only you guys when it was tough, but when I was in my youth and had no friends, man, wrestling saved me. I'm going to be real. And I'll be forever grateful to professional wrestling. But, all right, timestamp, boom. Thank you for listening to that. And to those still rocking, let's move on to something a little lighter. I appreciate you guys, Io, Millard, Critical Sting. But let's get an Impact on Access TV. As I said, we don't have Power Rankings this week. A little bit wonky. This week we had the Impact Live episode. And it's going to start with Iceman Intel on BTI. I say the same thing every week, guys. If you watch every week, okay, I can understand your angst about watching BTI. That being said, Iceman Intel is fun at least, and then the match is generally can't miss. And in this instance, I thought it was really cool, and you get to see a prospect in this case. But Iceman Intel, he's in LA, he's getting ready for Multiverse, and Mickey has a role at the show. That's your news. But we're gonna go to Windsor, which I really loved here, man. This Windsor crowd. And the fact they're doing a Canada loop the way they are is awesome, because this crowd looked great. It's only going to get bigger. They knew the product. And in this case, Brian Myers versus Jack Price. Even Jack Price got some Price is Right chants and some really cool stuff, man. This crowd was wonderful. Jack Price, by the way, literally for my old TNA headers, is the love child. I think the Diamonds in the Rough just put them together. Elix Skipper and David Young. But like Jack Price, but he's going to take the L here to Brian Myers in the roster cut. No harm, no foul, getting Jack Price on television, keeping Brian Myers in the win column. And good to have some live action. We're going to get a couple more ones, but we're going to skip ahead. Tom and Matt to the live show, live rundown here. And the common theme it is on this live rundown, I'm all over the place, got a lot of emotions going on. But it's that there's a lot of cats who are used to dealing with live television, the pros of the pros. And in this case, Tom and Matt used to dealing with it, and the first person they bring on is Santino. And they're going to go a rundown of the Multiverse card, and that's kind of the gist of this event, the live episode. Running down the card, selling that, and so on. Really cool here. We get a Lucha sighting. Shout out to Lucha, by the way. And then they talk sellouts, which once again, not only in Canada, but sellout. Small, sure, but having sellouts and having that shtick or that label you could put on it is a plus. There was times where we couldn't in the smallest arenas. Let's take the dub where we could get it, and in this case, Impact building momentum. Hopefully, Multiverse helps to that or adds to that. Seems like a lot of people were high on it, so I'm excited to talk about that. But after they push that, Tanahashi and Bayley are going to get a video package. I like here that Bayley talks about representing the X Division. Actually, I had my friend over for Sacrifice. And he was talking about the heyday of the X Division and the names and the dude, all these people. And once, I bow down to that. The X Division legacy is phenomenal. But I don't think the X Division is in a bad place whatsoever. Trey at the head of it, killing it. He'll kill it, and Multiverse as well. But the fact is, Bayley mentioning the X Division as this entity, as this actual division, was really cool for me. It was a throwback. And if you actually look at the people, I don't know if Gresham stays in there, but if they booked it like TNA used to, and this is our X Division, and you got Bayley, Trey, Gresham, Ace, Bay, the head honcho, I'm not saying they'll end up where the AJs and Samoa Joes and Daniels will of this world, but there's a damn good chance. And all those dudes are, I think, equally as talented as some of those I've mentioned. So really cool for me. I don't know what you guys thought. To showcase Tanahashi, they're going to do a clipped up match from Resurgence 2021, Tanahashi versus Archer. To be honest, I fast forward through this right here. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I always keep it unbiased, transparent, and honest. And maybe too much. Some of you are saying right now. But, spade is spade. Anywho, I thought this was really cool for, once again, the TNA fanboy in me to see Archer here, to have him back on our screen. Thought it would have been cool to have him back when he chose AEW, but I digress. At least he's here. We get to hear Kevin Kelly on our screen, and then Moxley's there. So this is one of those things where it was just a really cool, oh yeah, cool. And of course Tanahashi, not chopped liver by any means whatsoever, but we're going to talk about him regularly throughout this. Io saying the studio set looked clean. It did, man. And I know I briefly mentioned, I'm trying to hit it here because there's a lot of studio, but not only were they picking out the professional people to talk, you're talking them, Santino, Fred Rosser, who's obviously familiar with live television on a reg. Who else? Scott D'Amore, Tommy Dreamer. They pulled out a lot of people Mickey James, a lot of vets that are used to talking about it. So it looked good. The cuts I thought were good. The picture was good. It was a very positive studio show, but it was a studio show. But taking the dubs where we can, as I said earlier, I agree with Io. Beautiful look. Felt branded, felt right. Everyone came. It was good. Nicely put together. So kudos to them. And once again, to me, this is a test for can they do it. Not what they did, but can they do it. So I can give BTI a real studio set for Josh and Gia. That'd be cool. Instead of the screen and stuff. Moving on, though, we have Gia. They throw it to Gia. Speaking of Gia, throw it to Gia, and she's with Rocky Romero. And he's calling New Japan and Impact behemoths. He's putting Impact over. And then, of course, they're going to plug his music after that. Hopefully, no, I'm not going to say hopefully his new music is better than that promo. But either way, hey guys, shit's off the rails already. He's going to talk his match because he's going to be in the X Scramble. They're going to show it, Trey Showcase, talk about him. Love this yet again. If you're going to have time that's not going to be matches, that's not going to be storyline driven, at least exemplify your people. You don't know who's watching this. You don't know who's watching it because of Multiverse that normally wouldn't watch. Showcase your talent. Glad they did Trey good here. And then they're going to go to Kenta and Suzuki as well. Doesn't affect us too much. Keep moving on. Archer first TV appearance in months in its Impact TV program. Oh, okay, so he hasn't been on for a while. AEW where some wrestlers go to never be seen again. Oh, man. Fred Rosser is going to jump on. Love the new Japan jumpsuits. When are we going to get those Impact ones back, man? I'd buy one. I don't know if... Maybe they throw them for $40, the same price as the action figures. Or we get a miniature one for $40 that we could put on our action figure. Marketing. Anywho, he's going to talk, and man, I know this is an old thing, but this dude looks like John Cena. I know everyone says it and whatever, but it's, come on, man, especially if you're in the treehouse and you're staring at this dude. Bro, it's John Cena. But I digress. He's going to be in that multi-man tag, but they want to give their opinion because of his tag history. On Ace and Bay, they're going to show Ace and Bay's title win once again. Showcase our people. Love it. Good stuff. Next is another promo for Jody Threat, and it has been officially or made official since the last show. Jody Threat is signed to Impact Wrestling. She debuts next week, so next week looks to be like a banger show. More on that later. But Jody Threat, congratulations to her, man. We put the cross the line on it, and I'm self-admittedly not up to snuff with her career. I'm getting there as I look. I've watched a match since I said that. I've followed up the history that people mentioned with Athena and stuff, but also with Josh training her and all that. So I'm looking forward to her, and we'll see where it goes. I love, and I hope, I'm not going to, spoiler free. Obviously, she's going to have a singles match first, but I would love if they keep bringing in people who are indie recognizable. In this case, her, Kylan King before that. Putting them with a vet or someone who needs to have a tag team for now, because the Knockouts title picture is pretty taken up. We'll get to that. And then implement them there, give them an instant, foot in the door, and then figure it out from there. And a lot of things with tag teams is so easy, man. It's such an easy yet. Is it a crutch? Maybe. I don't know. We need tag teams, though. So it's a crutch in the sense of, how do we present these people? At the same time, when they break up these tag teams, you got an instant feud there between two knockouts, and it's good stuff. So I hope they make it work, but or not make it work. They will make it work, but I hope they do something along those lines. Critical Sting saying Impact recovering quickly from losing Taya with Jody and Kylan King, signing Tasha coming back, and Miyu Yamashita seemingly on a U.S. excursion run. Yes, man. We'll get to her in a second. But holy Lord, my first taste of a new knockout. So after Jody Threats, we're going to get Mickey in studio, and once again, vet in place. Mickey gets to talk her ribs. I'm reading her. I'm picking up what she's putting down. She'll be at Rebellion. I'm not going to doubt that. I already have it in the graphic below. I hope I'm not jinxing it, but it just makes too much sense. We don't know how much time she had to heal or when she actually got injured, so how much time she's actually had to heal. But all the signs are there for her to be part. Plus, it'd be a shame to vacate 2 titles in 1 month, essentially. But she's there, and she's talking about the diversity of the Knockouts division. And man, look, I did not know that PW Illustrated cover was coming. It's a throwback to Glow, if I'm not mistaken. But dude, so cool. Because there are people who won't give TNA any flowers whatsoever, but have to admit, and will always admit, that the Knockouts from the era revolutionized the game. It's fact. I don't care. Opinion, bias. That's legit, guys. I've watched 31 years of wrestling. Doesn't mean I'm always right, but this is something I think we can all agree on and go from there. At the same time, for them to be recognized in PW Illustrated, to get them on the cover, and to showcase all of them who are on there, from Roseberry and Masha to Mickey to Savannah and Giselle and Diana. What a crop of talent. Not a crop of knockouts talent, just a crop of talent. And the fact that they're getting some credibility, or not credibility, have credibility, getting recognition here, it means the world, man. And I hope it means that for them as well. Because there's some things in life that I sit back and I say, how do we all see this and not just in wrestling, just some things in sports and all that, or movies, whatever it may be, opinions in. And no one just can break from the mold and say, okay, but their knockouts roster, I mean, there's a lot more, but at least their knockouts roster is top notch, and so happy and so proud and for them and of them to get this cover. But she's talking about it here, and I was saying knockouts don't divide, they multiply. I like that. What I will say is, if we're talking about diversity, we're talking about expanding and making them a full portfolio of what it's really telling, considering who isn't on the cover. Who's specific? My brain's definitely not Taya, right? Or do you mean a different promotions women's wrestlers? Let me know. But I want to say this. There's two things, and I said this, I think, to Io. I need I don't know if it's luchadora. That's what I'm going to say. Excuse my ignorance or my nescience. And Joshi like character. Remember we had Hamada and we had Sarita, who was at least like the high flying AAA kind of style, and then you had Hamada, who was the representation from I don't know if she wasn't with Japan, but I digress. He said, I don't mean in a bad way, but how many good talents aren't on it in the division? Oh yeah, I feel you. Great point. But yeah, I would love to have a Hamada and a Sarita. Like, once we hit that, man, there's no, what are you going to say? And I'm going to run right into this because we're talking about diversity, and we're going to talk about Killer Kelly, who is one of them that is not on this cover, who is just completely, dude, if you're not enthralled when she comes on TV, from the lighting to the look of how she presents it, to her walk and her rhythm of her and her music, I don't know what I could tell you, but she's a complete package. And maybe Jody Threat's interesting, the boom boom here. But either way, she's going to face the debuting Miyu Yamashita. Let me get that right. Yamashita, right? And this is my first taste of that, of her work, and she did not disappoint. Both looked good here. This wasn't a, hey, New Japan, we're going to... They both got their comeuppance here, man. And skull kick is that what it's called? Because that is an understatement to what she did to the head with her foot to Killer Kelly. But either way, 1, 2, 3. Once again, this one also in Windsor. Beautiful crowd, into it, looked great. And the fact that Slammiversary is going to be near, well, it's going to be in Canada. I know that. I have to look back up where it is. But I heard it's in an even bigger arena. I'm excited for that. But yeah, Yamashita, she's going to come back up here, obviously, in Multiverse talk, but really cool talent, man. Don't know what the deal is with as far as New Japan when it comes to their female talent. Is it a regular thing? I am ignorant to this. Is it going to be something where they do loan out a lot? Is she going to be on an excursion for the long run? Hey, look, I know we talk about not putting our titles on people, and obviously Mickey's in a program that we'll get to in a bit, but man, tag something. This woman deserves gold. She is too good. Next up, Dreamer's going to come on TV, and he's got that 2K smile, man. He's always, like, when everyone comes back from break or anything, he's always, she's ready for the, good Lord. Love Tommy, but God bless it. They're going to run through Sacrifice. They're going to run over the Canadian Destroyer that happens with Scott, and they're going to drop some knowledge here. Team Bully versus Team Dreamer, Hardcore War. Thought we were done with it last month, but we had some great stuff come out of that. Scott, Darren McCarty, right? Some table spots, some story. And once again, for me, the only thing that matters in this feud are people watching and liking. I think this part helped, this last match helped. Are they elevating some young talent? And I can't imagine in this that it's going to be disappointing, because Hardcore War, crutches, baby. I mean, but also, team atmosphere, And you also have, I would imagine, the other 4 of each team, if Bully and Dream are in this, are going to be the good hands. Could be Yuya, could be some people, could it be Boopy, could it be Bhupinder, who had some stuff with Bully as well. No spoilers, of course, but it'll be interesting to see how they implement it. And on top of that, I want you guys to think about, I mentioned it last week, how maybe their matches aren't whatever. They both acknowledge it. Come on, they're in their 50s. They've lived a hard life on top of that. And in the bump aspect and lifestyle. But this is our, I'm not saying it's Hogan Sting 2011, but in some ways, the TNA has always been doing this. From Wednesday night pay-per-views, bringing out the legends for things. In this case, it's no different. And Hogan and Flair had Team Lockdown, right? Didn't they have their thing like that? So this is just a reminiscence of that, man. We get the nostalgia. We get 2 dudes who, on screen, besides the 2K smile that I mentioned, breaking balls, they know how to work. And this is going to be entertaining. I'm excited for it. Is it, out of the 3 announced, my 1 or 2? No. But it's definitely something I'm not dreading. Want to touch you guys on there. Ooh, hey, didn't mean to say it like that. Millard, I would love for Impact to bring over some more Stardom wrestlers and maybe Millie McKenzie in the near future. Also saying, does this mean the return of Devon in some way? I don't know, man. I got the cross the line thing ready. His last run he wasn't too happy with here, or most of his run, so it'd be nice to rectify that, especially since some of us have some good memories of Team 3D and Thanksgiving dinners and different things that they've done over the course, of their run here, man. So it'd be cool to have him back, come full circle. And I don't know if he can wrestle. I think Bully mentioned that, but it'd be cool to have him peek his head up. Before we think Scott's going to come on and accept and be part of Tommy Dreamer's team here, he is not. He said, that's not for me. Interesting how he delivered that. He's not a wrestler. He's just here for, I don't know, man. Keep your eye on Scott. The president, by the way. And allegedly the Canadian Destroyer inventor. Now, swear I thought it was Amazing Red, and then PD was given it to by Scott, who was using it in Japan. I know that for a fact. So the history is murky here, but it's interesting that they're going with that, or making a point to say it, I mean. And I want to make sure that everyone knows. It's named, if I'm not mistaken, for Doug Chevalier? What PD said, I think was PD said that one time. Who was the original Canadian Destroyer. So, not going to fact check it. Either way, Scott's a part of the history of it, and he had a good one. And I'm sure we're going to see one sooner rather than later again from him. But here's the president. He says no. He gives us an update on Josh's tricep. I thought it was pec for some reason, but tricep. And announces that he will be, and I'm jumping here, guys, a little bit. I'll get back to the Jeff Cobb and Moose stuff. But that Josh will be giving up the title, vacating it live this coming episode. So we'll see Josh giving up the title. He also blames Kushida for keeping that lock on, which I thought was important because even Lucha was indecisive about what direction they were going with Macklin tap and made him look weak. I don't think so whatsoever. I think he didn't want the same thing to happen to him that Josh happened. Josh was in a throwaway match. The match meant nothing. Kushida puts a hover lock on and locks it in much longer. Storyline purposes, they're using it for this. Maybe that was the intent all the time. Maybe he was injured back then. But either way, cool that they used that for the Kushida thing, and cool that I think that Macklin tapped quick to self-preserve. Especially with him knowing that he's been scouting Josh for so long that, But going back real quick, they throw a Jeff Cobb and Moose package here. Gia's eventually going to talk with Moose after, and he's going to go back and forth with Dreamer. Maybe that's a sign of things to come. But Moose mentions he's the 7th longest reigning champion in Impact history. It's funny. But hey, there's been a lot of reigns, so that's still something to not to bark at, man. But I want to shout out to the graphics here, man. And maybe it went all the way through. Obviously, I wasn't watching every word. But it was cool that when Santino picked his person that they lit up and stuff. Not a big fan of when kayfabe people make predictions because they know who's going to win. But I can't remember. I think he picked Cobb in this situation. Cobb is going to win. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But last but not least, we go to Vegas, and this is why I mentioned the Windsor thing on top of that, very specific of where it was, and hoping we go back there, because that crowd is not the Vegas crowd. And the Vegas crowd wasn't bad by any means, but seeing that and the setup and the crowd and the noise, and then going to Vegas, it was night and day, to me at least. And we're going to get to more night and day when we go to Multiverse. I also seen Dreamer try to recruit Scott on his team. Yeah, he wanted that destroyer, man. Critical thing saying the delay between the studio and G at the venue had me worried. They couldn't hear each other. Yeah, there was a slight little gap there. Or not slight, it was noticeable. But more on that in a second. But first, we're going to have that much talked about prior, much people are excited about, and it didn't disappoint, man. This was Josh versus Kenta. I thought there were some weird cuts, commercial choices here. But either way, really good one, man. Would have loved to see this on pay-per-view. Would have loved to see it all the way through. But Josh is going to pick up the win here with a C4 spike. And I know Scott was blaming Kushida, and maybe rightfully so. But after this match, I think you could have easily blamed Kenta too, man. There were some stiff-ass kicks in there. This was a hard-fought match. I dug this shit, man. And it just is a bittersweet moment because where's our boy Josh, man? You know? Sucks. But Millard saying, Jeff, do you think Macklin is ready for a world title run? Does Macklin get screwed over? Man, we kind of talked about it last week as far as the different possibilities. I thought if Josh was healthy, he would have got screwed over at Rebellion, meaning Macklin would have been the start of Team Canada. I think they could still get that ball rolling. I think Josh could still be a part of that. We have months to go. It really depends for me where this match goes. With the Knockouts title looking like it's going to be, spoiler, Deanna, Jordynne, and Mickey, I think you main event that thing. And if you put Josh and Kushida to open for the vacated title, we get it out of the way, let's have a champion for the rest of the show, and then there's a screw there where Kushida and him don't win, I like that. But Mac going to be built up this whole time and then now just beat Kushida, and that's, I hate to say just Kushida, I love Kushida, respect to Kushida. But was he in a title contention until that last moment where Multiverse was coming along? No. Would he normally be? Not here, I don't think. So, he did beat further world champs, and, you know, is that enough momentum for you guys? Is that enough to sell it? I don't know. I think the Knockouts should main event Rebellion. I was saying the same. I think regardless, you should sell the pay-per-view on that, and also the fact that we're going to have a new world champion. I think that's the way they should go about it. Will they? I don't know. Is Macklin ready? I keep saying it, man. He's the ringmaster before Stone Cold. Will he reach that level? Come on, man. Stone Cold's 1 in a million. Well, 1 in a billion. And the rise, the rise of what he did for professional wrestling, and the heights he brought it to, it won't be touched anytime soon, I don't think. But he has the talent. Do I think he has that ring general cap yet? No, I don't. But who am I? I just watch, right? Just watch television and video. But as far as character development, as far as Macklin, the kayfabe character, it makes sense. It would have just made more sense if he got screwed and then beat Josh after that. He is the guy that music hits, and he has to go, I'll use it, fuck up everybody that's there. Goes in, stunner. That's not his. He's going to have the DDT, DOA. But that's his bag. I've been saying it since day one. He needed that Punisher jacket. Got it, man. He never got the cigar I was talking about. But I love this dude, man. They've presented him well. He looks like a world heavyweight champion. That's a big part of it. Do the fans believe him? I think most do. I don't know. Millard said, I like Macklin, but I don't buy him as a world champion yet. I think a lot of his thing, the culmination of his, would have been that double turn. I think the face to him turning, that Brett and Stone Cold moment, would be needed to put that character to that next level, since he hasn't won a belt otherwise, since he hasn't had that chance to go out there. Now, they've had practice with him at PW Revolver, right? But as far as on our television screens, I get it. Now, I will say kudos to him, man, because he's not a guy who looks like just, oh, I'm going to coast, man. I'll get what I can. He seems to continuously get better and better and better and better. And sky's the limit for this dude. And I can't wait to, monthly talk about what the dude does on pay-per-views and in between. Talented guy. I'm excited. And I think we should all be happy, at least, that we've created another world title contender. A viable one. And I'm going to be real. Sometimes the people make the belt. In Sammy's case, I don't think Sammy ever needs to win a title. But sometimes, and same with Eddie, like you put it on them to make sure you got it locked down, you got a foundation, stable place, then you go from there. Because they don't need it. There's certain people then that the belt makes and gets them over that little hump, that hides some flaws, that just says, let's pull it and let's go and let's see what they can do. In this case, I don't know if that's Macklin because I think he'll thrive. But I think it's something that, well, to relax about, I guess, to relax you about, I would say he's someone that I think will take the ball and run, well, not just to the end zone, but to the next stadium. And I think he's one of those dudes. Other than Kazarian, I don't know who else besides Steve. Yeah, for sure. I think Kazarian, I think you could build Kenny King into that and give him some things. You always have Eddie and Sammy looming around. I hope Moose stays and he's part of that as well. But that was Impact on AXSVTV. How did you guys like the live aspect of it? Are you guys big on the studio ones, or did you guys even watch all the way through? Let's be honest here. I don't know. I didn't see really the results or what you guys thought online too much. Had a lot going on. But either way, we're going to get a bomb episode. It looks like next week. We're going to get Gresham and Bailey 3 and Full Circle. The winner of that gets an X Division shot at Rebellion. So we're going to either have Gresham or Bailey versus Trey. Sign me up. If you could work all three in there, let's make that happen. Jody Threat's going to debut. Maybe get a little insight to where she's going creatively, or it's maybe just a one. I'll say more live shows once a month or two. I agree, man. I always liked that. Like, I know it was a step back for us at the time, but at least having that first show before you do tapings. Have that one be live, tape on a Thursday. That gives you a Friday night show, which they already have Friday nights, so you could have a Friday night, bring some, get the fans in easy there, and you can still have your taping day Saturday as well. Boom, boom, boom. It works. And it keeps you in a one arena for 3 days without getting stale, I think. Now, maybe they think maybe just the 1-2, Thursday, Friday. I'll leave that to them. That's why they get paid and I don't. More on that later. But continuing on, they also, Motor City Machine Guns facing TMDK, so Big Teats and Slapjack sticking around for a little bit, and then Josh will be in the building to hand over his title. So I want to hit on a couple things of hot... let's get through Multiverse quick, do a rundown of that. I'm not going to go too much detail, to be honest with you guys. Not all the way through with it. But have some points. I want to know what you guys thought as far as... Because all I'm seeing is positive, from bell to bell, positive reviews as far as the matches and what was going on and all that. For me... I'm going to be honest, it was hard to spend $25 on that presentation. It felt like when Anthem just bought Impact and was putting us on those live matches, or those live Impact, what were they, the monthly ones. I can't even think of what the damn term is. But the sound and all that was a little whatever for me. I know it's at WrestleCon and stuff, but yeah, it was a hard sell. I'm going to be real. Now, did I buy it and start watching it? Yes, I did. But, because sucker, one night onlys and stuff. Yeah, those things. And the Impact Plus specials and whatever. The lighting and all that, it just felt right. But the crowd seemed to eat it up. Weren't the best mic'd, as I said. And the reviews of everything seem to be pretty positive as well. Now, on the pre-show, you're going to get Yuya defeating Gabriel Kidd. Glad to see Yuya back here and healthy. Interested to see where... it seems he's sticking around. Millard saying working relationship with New Japan is getting better and better every day, but we need to be a part of Wrestle Kingdom somehow next year. Yeah, man. I think our relationship's just fine, no matter if they're working with AEW or not. I think they're just in it to get, cast the biggest net they can in New Japan. And no harm, no foul. They're doing a lot for us, man. And and letting us piggyback in some cases. But we've helped them as well in different ways. And throughout the night, let's get actually right into that because they're going to help us too. And in this case, the X Division Scramble, Trey is going to retain against Kaz, Swan, Rocky Romero, Clark Connors. Who am I missing here? Kevin Knight, who's going to take the pin on Trey. Trey going to be sneaky about it, get the pin, but he's pinning a New Japan youngin right here in the first match. Next up, we get another victory. PCO here getting a pin, getting the pin for his team against Kratos and of Team Filthy. So Callahan, and Rosser and PCO getting the win over Eddie, Hendry, and Team Filthy. Cool PCO getting the win here, man. Once again, I said it last week, wasn't a diss on PCO. Long live PCO. Love the character. Love the dude. Love the presentation. Feels like he's just perfect for this company. But sometimes, hey man, just like I said with Tommy and Bully, there's no harm, no foul. Maybe he's the guy who takes the reins of Monsters Ball and continues that. Give him something to accentuate his style and his balls to the wall, fearless like wrestling. And I think that would work. But anyways, getting the victory over Kratos here. Next up is the first one where Impact's really taken the L. Yuya, Trey, PCO, all getting the dubs. Some people in the Kratos team were Impact, obviously, but Jeff Cobb beating Moose, and this is this a warning for a red flag for you guys? I said it, and I'm gonna keep saying it. Moose's contract's running up pretty quickly. Moose has done everything he can in Impact Wrestling. Would I love for him to do it for years and years until he's done wrestling? I sure would, man. He's got one of those action figures. He's a standard bearer here at Impact. And he's definitely, if you look at the roster and say, besides Josh, who's the guy you could give, and I know I said Eddie and all them, Sammy, and I still believe that, but as far as you could give the belt to and like, damn, that's a world champion and people don't know these, you don't have to build any Moose is that dude, man. He looks the part, he is the part, and he's believable. And right here he's picking up the L against Jeff Cobb. Now, Jeff Cobb, obviously no slouch for New Japan. Got a good run there. And continues to. But at the same time, Moose taking the L. Interesting. Keep your eye on it. He's too dang good not to test himself. And the G1 Climax and Moose. Hey, man. All for it. Going to continue on. Deanna is in that four-way. Going to pick up a surprise to me. Pinning Giselle Shaw here. Makes sense. Yamashita's not going to take the L. Yamashita not getting much in this match either. Maybe just trying to give her a break or not. But Masha in it. I thought Masha was the clear cut to make it go full circle, to have Masha and Jordynne and Mickey. So maybe this goes against my thing. Maybe it's just going to be straight up Deanna versus Jordynne. And honestly, no disrespect to Kushida, the other world title, or Macklin, I'd still put Jordynne versus Deanna in the main event. Just like I said with Eddie and Sammy, or even Moose and Josh, these two women are it. They could, shit, man, something happened. What do we need in the main event? Let's put Jordynne and Deanna. I could watch that match. You guys could watch that match. Anyone could watch that match and recognize the greatness of those two individuals. So either way, looking forward to the Rebellion match for sure. But interesting, Masha not getting it here, man. Doing a lot of work with GCW still. I still think they've went a different route because of something else. But we'll see. Next up, Ace and Bay are going to pick up the win. And what's great about this is they get the pin on Big Teats again. He gets to take the moves in the fold and make a redemption for Sacrifice. Kudos to him for doing that. Well, I'm sure it wasn't his choice. But either way, cool little nugget. They're going to be Aussie Open, TMDK, and Motor City Machine Guns. Love this for Ace and Bay. Still think in the future they can drop the Bullet Club shtick. ABC is going to be just fine. And they are definitely, blocks of the foundation here at Impact. So Bullet Club getting the win here, or Ace and Bay, let's make that point because it's Impact, PCO, Deanna, and Trey and Yuya, which New Japan, but still. So pretty cool for us, all to get those dubs. Next up is Kushida and Lio Rush, man, and this is one I did watch all the way through, or got to. I skipped around. Banger. So once again, not counting Kushida out, not slighting his talents. Great dude, great talent. And this showcased that. Lio Rush, man, what a quality. He doesn't even look like he should be in the X Division in its heyday. Like he would be in a 20-man gauntlet for the X Division for the X Division title or a trophy or something. He just looks like that part. He wrestles that part. He's a talented dude, but mind, body, and spirit. Next was Kenta versus Suzuki, and Kenta's going to pick up the win. I'm not going to go over that too much. I'm going to stick to Impact for the most part. Obviously, Kenta has a shirt with us, so hey, perfect. What's the odds? But Kenta's getting the win over Suzuki. And last but not least, Tanahashi and Bailey. Leo versus Trey, book it now. Yeah, I'm down, man. Tanahashi versus Bailey, there's not enough great things I can say. If you're questioning it, not questioning it like myself, but you see the pre-show and you see the lighting or the sound or whatever, and you're just like, $25 I'm already spending, worth the buy. For all the matches that I did fully see, for all the ones that I'm going to go back and watch after this. But the presentation as far as how Impact was respected here, man, it wasn't a 15-minute, I'm your New Japan guy, I'm going to let you get some stuff in it. This was a great showing of how two companies can partner together fluidly, without any bullshit, and just put on a damn good show, man. And Tanahashi versus Bailey epitomizes that. I will say, as anyone else knows, Bailey not selling too much. Bailey doesn't sell too much. I don't know if he recovers miraculously a lot, but anywho, that's my little thing from it. Other than that, what the hell are you gonna say? Tanahashi, Bailey, worth the money. Buy it, buy it, buy it. What did you guys think of this? At the very least, I thought it was a great example of two companies working together. I thought it was a great example of our relationship with them, man. Once again, going down this, you have Tanahashi and Cobb. Kushida's, that has no, harm, no foul in our game, and Kenta Suzuki the same. But damn, respect, man, respect. And I really dug that. Respect, I want to get to that first. I got a couple things on that, but I do want to talk about Rebellion really quick. Rebellion so far, Kushida versus Macklin for the world title, Team Bully versus Team Dreamer, and Hardcore War, and Jordynne Grace versus Deanna versus perhaps Mickie James. Let's hope for it. Now, as far as the respect thing goes, the first one goes, man, I want to say, I already put over the knockouts in the PW Insider, but Jordynne Grace, from point A of signing with this company to where she is at now, not only as a wrestler, not only as just her physique in general, or how she looks, or what part she plays on the card, or any of that stuff. Ambassador. She is a wonderful, wonderful ambassador for Impact Wrestling, man. And the fact that Impact Wrestling works for the schedule she wants, allows her to do the great things that she got to do. In this case, I'm not going to even try to tell you what the event was, but I know it was for bodybuilding. And she came in first in novice, true novice, women's physique open, and overall women's physique. Flowers to her, man. The time, the effort, the dedication to get into that shape, and then to do your first one and then win everything. Meanwhile, still your first love of professional wrestling, still killing it and being the juggernaut, being the star that she is on Impact Wrestling week after week after week. These are the type of people that Impact has had in the past when they were TNA and before, and you were at points like, man, they don't leave. Well, eventually Bobby and Eric did, but she's one of the ones that continuously sticks around, and we're not in any shape, way, or form anywhere where they were when they left. I want to get that out. Speak over myself. But my point is that she's just someone who you keep saying is, damn, this woman's a star. She's going to leave. Doesn't. This woman's next contract resigns. On top of that, continues to put Impact over everywhere she goes. These are the people you need to keep around and you need to throw the bag at. Can we throw the bag at other people out there? I'm sure there's some names that we can make a point for, and I have, especially Mercedes and other things like that. But as far as keeping your talent locked up, you got to keep Jordynne for the long haul if she is willing. Great in everything she does, man, and kudos to her for just multitasking the hell of it, and just dedication, man. That's straight dedication to get like that. So anyways, so respect to her. And the last one to respect, I'm going to wrap this up, guys. I got just so much going on, man, and I love you, and I appreciate you guys for listening, and those who listened all the way through. The numbers have been, I appreciate you guys. I know it could be a lot, one person talking for a while, but I feel like there's a bond here we built, and friends for life, man. I don't mean that in a whole... I'm serious, guys. I really love and appreciate everything you guys have done for me and given me, and I'll more on that later, but thank you. And the last one I want to talk about respect for is Konnan, man. You might have this feeling about Konnan, that feeling about Konnan. I don't know. I'm not going to get into any of that stuff. But as a WCW guy, ECW guy, and then, of course, TNA guy, Konnan is GOAT in some aspects. And he is in a lot of aspects. He is one of those things that I also look back and say, how is this dude not in WWE? How is this guy not always in the big picture? And I know there's little things here and there, and there's stories and whatever. But as far as over and, the dude said catchphrases that he hasn't... Now, granted, he said them spiced in an Impact and a little AEW more recently, right? Maybe MLW, I believe, as well. But that crowd knew who Konnan was. They ate up everything he had to say. It was a beautiful speech that... I loved it, man. I know this isn't Impact talk, but he is a legend of Impact. Konnan is 3LK for life, man. But not only to see him get that opportunity to talk and get reactions and have the crowd behind him in front of a company that never gave him the chance, besides that Max Moon thing, I thought was pretty cool. I heard it was serious like a late period. It was. And Rey Mysterio is a scarecrow because he's outstanding in his field, man. Legend. Not even mention the Mahi Mahi and the great Cookie Gate shit. Ray part of that as well, full circle. But yeah, man, to have Konnan get that opportunity, and I know it wasn't his moment, but in a lot of ways for me and for my love for Konnan, it was dope, man. And did you know he has a podcast? You could go check out his podcast. Go check that out. But he gets to give Ray his flowers, and Ray is that one person besides that little Cookie Gate moment, the blurred face. Never been on Impact, never was in TNA. One of them I got away, but if you're not an avid watcher or you're not a whatever, Hall of Fame doesn't intrigue you, watch the last part. Watch Konnan put over Ray, and then Ray put over everybody in his career, man. They're bringing back the LWO. That was my last thing I wanted to touch on when it comes to Rey Mysterio and this thing here. But yeah, go watch that, guys. And if it didn't give you the feels, I don't know. You gotta give you some life to life, mouth to mouth. Ay. But the other thing that I just mentioned, the LWO, they're bringing it back. It's a WCW guy, as an Eddie guy, as a Ray guy, as a Malenko guy, by the way, who was put over. Not that he was part of LWO, but it was a beautiful moment. And the fact that I didn't like the Dominic stuff. I'm going to mention that. I don't like the kayfabe within the stuff, but I saw the video because it popped up in my thing after that. It was actually today that I saw this. Bringing back LWO. I don't know what the deal is, if it's permanent just because they're facing off against Judgment Day. Guys, 86 minutes. It's all for Impact. I actually put more than 86 minutes, and it was for the Hall of Fame part and Multiverse. So thank you. We'll add that to my column. But I do want to mention that 3 out of the 4 people he gave his shirts to have all been on the Impact roster page at one point in their career. Okay. Am I right? If I'm not mistaken, El Phantasmo or whatever his shtick is now. Rosita, whatever her thing is. And then was it DJZ was the other one there, man? Z-Man. Really cool shit, man. So pretty cool. Not just because they were Impact people, but I'm an LW and all that sucker, that era. And then, of course, the fact that they were there was really cool. And then, as Millard's saying, Konnan has a great career in the ring, backstage, promos, and running companies. Yeah, man. You can't. His legacy is legit. And I just wanted to give my flowers, and not that he's watching. Correct. Santos, Selena, and DJZ. Awesome. Thank you, Io. But yeah, it just a really cool moment that in a world of half of the WWE roster has been on Impact. Fair enough. Fair enough. We missed out on Santos. He's really good. Yeah, he is. He is firm with the mask, but he's good. Anyways, guys, thank you for watching this, listening to whatever you guys are doing. I appreciate you. I love you. Thank you to the chat who rocked with me, even on Wrestle whatever weekend. Pro wrestling in all ways. Thank you. And if you listen to the beginning part as well, thank you as well. Can we get Garza Jr. back? Fair. I'm going to rip off my pants and get some rest and watch the rest of Multiverse. And maybe some WrestleMania, we'll see. But back to normal Impact next week. Some really good stuff going on. Ben, once again, I'll be rocking with you all the way to Rebellion. And then, of course, checking in, doing some good stuff monthly with you guys. I hope you guys are along for the rides. Keep supporting everyone on this channel. Keep supporting Impact Podcasts across the spectrum. And thank you. We'll get more into it, but I got enough out today. Thank you, guys. Thank you for coming out. God bless and good night. Bye, everybody. Goodbye.